Hello, and welcome to Parak Tet and Parak Yud, which will be the story of the rise of Yehu as the next Melech Yisrael. Just to look at a little word cloud summarizing the Parak, you'll see some of the main characters we're going to focus on. Obviously, the most important being Yehu. Yehu is a general who is fighting in Ramot Gilad on the frontier against the Syrians, and he is going to be told by a Navi that he is the next Melech Yisrael, and he will then go and kill off the entire house of Achav to fulfill the Nevuah, the prophecy that was made by Eliyahu that we learned about concerning Achav in the story of Kerem Navot. And so Yehu is the next king. The king who Yehu is going to kill off is Yehoram. Yehoram is the son of Achav. Yehoram is the king. Yehoram is going to be killed by Yehu. As well, Yehu is also going to kill the entire house Achav, all the male descendants, to fulfill the prophecy. And finally, Yehu is going to kill Izebel. Izebel is the wicked queen who was married to Achav and in many ways responsible for the story. Yehu will also be killing Achazyahu, who is the Melech Yehudah. He is actually a grandson of Achav and Izebel, so he's also from the house of Achav, but he is the king of Yehuda, not Yisrael. So those are the main characters. Now let's go through a little bit of the parak. Be'Elisha Navi Kara Lecha B'Bnei Nevi'im. So the parak starts with Elisha calling to one of the prophets, one of the student prophets. V'yom Elok Hagor Matnecha V'Kach Pach Hashem Anazeh B'Yadecha V'Leik Ramot Gilad. You should gird yourself, in other words, get ready, and go to Ramot Gilad. Ramot Gilad is where the battle right now is going on, and where Yehu, the general, and his other generals are. Yehoram, who is the king of Israel, is no longer in Ramot Gilad because he got injured in battle. He is in Yisrael, which we're going to talk about. And he should take specifically a pach hashemen, that's a jug of oil. This is an example of the jug of oil that they used to use to anoint the kings. To anoint means they'd pour oil on the head of the king in order to determine that they're the king. So he's actually going to anoint Yehu as the next king of Israel. Uvata shama sham Yehu ben Yoshaphat. He said you should find their Yehu. Ubata vekimota mitok Achav. Bring him up from his brothers. Ve'vetu oto cheder b'cheder. Do this in secret, in a room within a room. V'lakakta pach hashemen. You should take this jug of oil, v'yasakta al rosho, and pour it, anoint on his head, v'amarta, and say, Ko amar Hashem mishaktika lemelech al Yisrael. You have been anointed. The word Mashiach comes from the word to anoint. You have been anointed as the king of Israel. Upatakta adelet b'nachta v'lo techakeh. And then what should you do when you're done? Just open the door and get out of there. Do not wait. So this is the secret mission that the Navi, who is the student of Elisha, is sent to go to Ramot Gilad with a jug of oil and anoint Yehu in secret as the next king of Israel. Vayelach nara navi Ramot Gilad. So the young prophet goes to Ramot Gilad. Vayavovi neisarei achayil yoshvim v'yomer dvar elecha asar v'yomer Yehu omi mikulana v'yomer elecha asar. So basically what happens is all the generals are sitting together, including Yehu, and the Navi says, I have a word with the master. And Yehu does not associate himself as being the master. He said, which one of us? But then the Navi says, I want the officer, the leader, and Yehu now is the leader. So he goes up and he puts Yehu in the house. He fulfilled the prophecy. He pours oil on his head. He tells him, you have been anointed to be the Melech, the king of the nation of Hashem, the king of Israel. So Yehu is now anointed as the king. Now remember, this is all in secret because Yehoram is still hanging on Yisrael, and Yehoram is actually ruling as the king. So Yehu is going to have to do something about that. And here's what he's going to do. Your job is to kill off the entire house of Achav. To take revenge on the blood of the prophets, because Achav, as we learned, through Izebel killed many prophets. You should avenge everything that Izebel did. So you're going to kill off the house of Achav. V'avad kol beit Achav, v'krati la'Achav mashim b'kir. Every male descendant of Achav should be killed. V'atzur v'azu b'Yisrael, everywhere in Israel. V'atati et beit Achav kebeit Yeravam ben Nevat, kebeit Basha ben Achia. We learned about Yeravam. Basha was another wicked king. Achav is going to suffer the fate, his house, of Yeravam ben Nevat. Every male descendant. Yeravam was killed because he did Averot. So likewise, Achav, every male descendant is going to be killed. And also like Basha, who is also a king of Yisrael, every male descendant was killed. What happened to Izevel? She'll have a special punishment because she was really the worst of the worst. The dogs will lap up her blood, will eat her up in the portion of Yisrael. Yisrael, remember, was where all the problems with Navot happened, the Kerem Navot. So Midah Keneged Midah, measure for measure. Izevel is going to be eaten up by the dogs right in Yisrael. V'ein kover. There won't even be anything left to bury her. So she'll die. The dogs will eat her up, and there won't be any burial. And then the Navi went, and he ran away. Now, the story is going to continue, and I'm going to skip down where Yehu is now going to go, and he has to lead a rebellion. So Yehu is going to lead a number of people with him from Ramot Galad, and they're going to go secretly to Yisrael. And the key is that while they're going to Israel, they're not going to tell anyone the reason they're coming. So therefore, the entire time, Yehoram, who is the king of Yisrael, who's in the city of Yisrael, is not going to know whether Yehu is with him or against him. We're going to now skip from Pasuk Yud all the way to Pasuk Chav Aleph. And now we are in Yisrael, and Yehu has an entire entourage. And Yehoram is now coming to greet him, not knowing is he a friend or a foe. Yehoram, the king of Israel, the descendant of Achav, says, Esor ve'esor rikvo, and he gets on his chariot. This is Yehoram on his chariot. You'll see in a moment why there's a guy with a bow and arrow behind him. Ve'esor rikvo ve'yetze Yehoram melech Yisrael. So Yehoram goes to greet Yehu. And not only that, but Achaziyahu melech Yehuda, ish berikvo, ve'yetze likrat Yehu. Achaziyahu is the king of Yehuda, who was also related to Yehoram, because remember, Yehoram is Achab's son, Achaziyahu is Achab's grandson, Achaziyahu is Yehoram's nephew. Achaziyahu, the king of Judah, and Yehoram Melech Yisrael are both together in Israel. They go to greet Yehu. Perfect time for Yehu to fulfill the prophecy to kill off every male descendant of Achav, both from Yisrael and from Yehuda as well. V'yetzu likrat Yehu, v'yimse'el b'chelkat Navot Yisraeli, and where are they? None other than the field of Navot. We learned about Kerem Navot in a previous video. That's where they are. Vayikirot Yehoram et Yehu v'yomar shalom Yehu, do you come in peace? V'yomer ma shalom adnuni Izevel imchak shaver rabim. There is no peace right now, as long as Izevel there with her witchcraft. So there is no peace. So Yehu now declares war. Vayafoch Yehoram yadav v'yanos. Yehoram tries to run away. Vayomer Achaziyahu mirma Achaziyahu, and he said it's a rebellion. Achaz, it's a trick. V'yehu milei yado b'keshet. So this is Yehu, and Yehu has his bow and arrow. And Vayachet Yehoram ben Zera'av, and he kills Yehoram. He hits an arrow right over here, and Yehoram's going to die. Vayeta achetem elibo v'yikra b'rkvo, and he falls. Vayomer bidkash alisha sha ticheo b'chalkat tadei Navot Yisraeli, and where are they going to throw Yehoram? In the field of Navot. Ki zachor ani va'ata et rokvim shvadim achrei Achav aviv v'Hashem nasa alav et masa hazeh. Imlo atemei Navot v'atemei banav v'iti emesh num Hashem v'shilamte lecha b'chalkat dot num Hashem v'ata asa shticheo b'chalkat kedvar Hashem. Basically, he's saying that you should throw the body of Yehoram in the field of Navot as a punishment, midah keneged midah, for what we saw, that Achab did the horrible sin by killing Navot to get his field. So now Achab's son is being killed in the field of Navot. And now Achaziyahu tries to run away. Achaziyahu melech Yehuda ra'av v'yanot terek beit Hagan v'yidok acharav Yehu v'yomer gam oto uku ela merkava b'malei gur. So Yehu now is running after Achaziyahu. V'yanas Megiddo v'yamot sham, and there he gets killed in Megiddo. So Achaziyahu and Yehu, there's Achaziyahu getting killed, and Yehoram gets killed, and now the king is going to be Yehu. Okay, we're going to go further now. Now we have to talk about what's going to happen to Izevel. Vayavel Yehu Yisraelah. Now Yehu come to Israel. V'izevel shama v'tatzem b'fuch einah v'teita v'trosha v'tashkep b'ad hachalon. Izevel looks out from the window. She's all made up. She wants to try to maybe seduce Yehu. It's not going to work. V'yehu ba'ashar v'tomer shalom Zimri horeg hadonav. And Yehu comes, and Izevel says, you're just like Zimri. You killed your master. Zimri was a king who killed his master, and you'll be killed. To the end, Izevel is insulting Yehu. But what happened? Yehu says, who's with me? To all the servants. Vayomasim tua, vayimsim tua, vayizmi demel akir v'altusim vayimisel. So what do? The servants of Izebel go, and they throw her out the window, and her blood is dripping down the wall. So now Izebel is dead. She had been thrown out the window by her own servants. Yehu was effective in getting her own servant to kill her. And then they say, "Ooh, maybe we should bury her. Kibat Melachi, she's a princess. The only thing they find from Izebel is her skull and her legs and her palm of her hand. Everything else is eaten up by the dogs. This is the prophecy. So what happened? The dogs ate up the body of Izebel in Yisrael. The prophecy is fulfilled. All that was left to bury was her legs and her palms of her hand and her skull. It's quiet in the field. They can no longer say that even Izebel anymore. They can't see. And you'll see here, I'm going to go here and pull this out, and you'll see a picture. Let me just bring this to the front. So, and take out this picture, and you'll see this is the picture, and we'll put a little spot magic pen to show you of Izebel. That's her head. And this is the dogs. You see the dog that ate Izebel's head and ate Izebel's devil's palm and ate everything but Izebel's foot. These are the only things left from Izebel, because everything else was eaten by the dog. And now we're going to finally end the parak, and we'll just go here and finish off. So we ended in Parak Yud at the end of the story of Yehu. Yehu has become king, and this is the final verdict. Yehu never left the sins of Yeravim ben Nevat. Even though Yehu was a good king, he killed off the house of Achav. He also killed off the prophets of Baal, but he never got rid of the sin of Yeravim ben Nevat that we learned about, namely the temple in Beit El Dan, which was 2 golden calves. Although they were to Hashem, it was sort of a zara. It wasn't allowed. Since you basically did what was good in my eyes, because you did everything I wanted to Beit Achav, you killed off Yehoram, you killed off Izebel, you killed off Achazer, you killed off all the male descendants of Achav. Your dynasty, this is Yehu, and 4 generations later, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th generation here, they're all going to be, it's going to be a 4-generation dynasty. So that's what Yehu's reward is. We're going to learn about a lot of these kings, but the kings are going to last for 4 generations, which is actually a pretty good reward. You see here, because he killed off Yehoram, who was the son of Achav, he also killed off Izebel. But there's one female, Atalia, who is married to the Melech Yehuda, who wasn't killed, and we're going to learn about a lot of things that Atalia is going to do in this school year with the house of Yehuda. To be continued.